Black History is not just a month. It is a rich tapestry that is woven with threads of countless cultures, stories, and experiences. So, as we at Feel Pasión celebrate Black History Month, which by the way, it's every day of every year, I would love to shine a little bit of love for all of our Afro-Latinos y Latinas whose melodies and rhythms and sport have shaped the cultural landscape of both Latin America y todo el mundo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Hola, ¿qué tal, mi gente? My name is Noan El Boricua, and I am your host here at Fuel Pasión Podcast, where we know it's all about immersing ourselves dentro de la cultura, growing in our faith, and as always, making those conexiones, networking. And if you enjoy this podcast or this YouTube video, please consider to like and subscribe. La meta is to get to 500 subscribers, hopefully by end of year. Now, I alluded in the beginning in understanding the importance of celebrating Black excellence. And specifically here at Fio Pasión, I am not going to try to educate of the why we should be celebrating this. More importantly, I just want to let you know some of the best that have been out there and those that are continually doing it today in different contexts. Now, you know me. I love food, I love music, I love sports. Those are common three things that I've shared that will always unite people. And I think one of the beauties and understanding when we think about the Afro-Latin culture and knowing our Latino and Latina of descendants of Afro is really understanding the beauty of this tapestry of what we do. Here's the beauty, and for many that don't know, and this is always still kind of new to me to say, and I'll explain why. I am actually half Black. My father is Afro-Latino. And my family, both my mother and father, before they passed away, they both are Puerto Rican descent. They were born there. My father then was raised here in the United States. My mom was raised in Puerto Rico, and then they met here in California, and then the rest is history. With that being said, during the time that while me growing up, my father is a very tall man. I am not. My father had an amazing afro. I don't have one. But one of the things that my father always shared was the challenges of the color of his skin. Now, for those that know my dad, know that my dad is very hot-tempered. My dad's very assertive, and my dad always owned the color of his skin. And a lot of times it was very challenging for him growing up in the 70s and the 80s of constantly just being challenged. But the beauty of my father is that he always let his merit and his work ethic of who he is outshine to bring all those haters and doubters to let them know that my father was truly one of a kind when it came. Now, that's one side of him. The other side of the deficiencies of my father, unfortunately, was alcoholisms and things of that nature. But that could be a story for another day. I'm honored to have my dad, who, in his Blackness and Puerto Ricanness, he truly showed me that I needed to own who I am as a Puerto Rican and as a man, and more importantly, at the passions and crafts that I have. And today, I want to share on someone that I've shared on before. I want to talk about one of the most iconic people out there. When I think about our Afro-Latino Latina, I think none other than to celebrate Celia Cruz, La Reina de la Salsa, the queen, right? And I think for me, her journey, like, like just through the music, it wasn't just about the rhythm or the melody. It was really a powerful narrative. And if I'm correct, I remember Netflix had her story. It's just powerful narrative of identity, resilience, and self-worth. I'm gonna give you an action plan behind those three things. Now, who is Celia Cruz? Celia Cruz was born in Havana, Cuba, and I'm gonna read this because I had to write this down because there's so much. Her roots in Afro-Cuban culture greatly dio la influencia a la música to her music. We know her by her powerful voice and electrifying stage presence. Like, I just gotta show some of these, like her outfits, her rhythm, her swagger. Like, that was something in itself beautiful. And with her powerful voice and knowing this, she broke barriers. Ladies and gentlemen, she broke barriers to show people the beauty of who she was and her people. And look, her music was a celebration of life, of love, and her heritage, reflecting this tapestry of Afro-Latino identity. And I think for me, many times, like in studying her history and her albums and many of her interviews, she always used throughout her career, like the platform to tell her story and the stories of others in the struggle. She always owned it. Like, she always said, Yo soy la reina, that I am the queen. And this declaration was more than just like a statement. It was the affirmation of her worth and the worth of her culture. And I just want to give a shout. I haven't done this in a minute, but I want to give a couple quick shout outs before I give you the actionable things of what I want you to take away in this video. Is that for me, when I've seen the beauty of multicultural people, I think of none other than C-Dub Chris Williams, who is also of Mexican and Afro descent. I think of Daryl Anderson. I think of so many other friends, but I wanna hone in on Chris and Daryl. Uh, yo, you're my hermanos, my brothers, and I want to give a shout out because the beauty of Chris, a cousin or el primo, as I like to say, is that is just the mind and the heart of music. He is a curator and storyteller through the sounds of beats as a DJ. And I think for me is to be able to see Chris, to be able to tell these stories and to be able to bring a platform through the art of music is something that I just want to like tip my hat and give you a salute, Chris. I know that you are from San Diego and I know you're right now up in Oregon, but the beauty is that your story continually just resonates with every single person that has had a chance to cross paths with you. And I appreciate you, Chris, for that. And not only Chris, but I gotta give a shout out to Daryl. Daryl again having this Afro, Mexican background. Daryl, you're of the people and for the people. When I think of Daryl, I think of comunidad, I think of community. I think of someone that understands how to invest in his people. Both of these men understand their platforms, but more importantly, understand sharing the platform and to be able to bring our Latin community and Afro community to come together and to be able to tell your story and to be able to understand your worth and that it is worthy for others to know all that you have for this world. Those are two people that come to mind because when I think of Celia Cruz, I think of this dynamic presence and I think of this amazing voice, but I also think of like two dear friends of mine, Chris and Daryl, that I got a chance to meet at work, and now I can say they're hermanos. And I think for me, this is what it's about. Is letting all of you understand the beauty of being Afro-Latin, right? No matter if you're Latino or Latina, but of Afro descent and to be able to own that. Look, I have my phone because I have my notes. I just want you to understand, right? Yes, Celia Cruz faced challenges. I'm going to keep it 100. She had many challenges. She had this political upheaval that forced her to leave her homeland and she left. But even in all the adversity, that try to silence her, she transformed this experience into a powerful song that spoke about the struggles and the triumphs of the Afro-Latino community. Her music became a voice for those that felt marginalized, but also reminding them that their stories, oye, cuentan, they matter. That's the beauty. Look, I had a chance to understand that in my years, God has given me a beautiful identity. And my hope is that you understand your identity matters. God created you uniquely, and this is why we need you to share your story. The other thing that I learned from Celia, as well as from like my peers of Daryl and Chris, is understanding resilience. Look, we all have struggles. I know that if you're listening and watching, we have our struggles, and they all look different, but we can all resonate that we know that we can overcome them. Why? Because we understand self-worth. That's something that I so admire and respect of my colleagues that allows me today, that's something I had to get done, that one of the questions that I was asked is what's something you struggle with? And even though I know that God has given me identity, even though I know God has given me purpose, I still struggle with kind of like the why do I blanked in the middle of a question of this, but it's wow. The false identity, or man, what wow, I'm really blanking on the word, and I even cut just to try to remind myself what it is, but this is really bad. There's moments that I don't understand my worth. There's moments that I tend to pull my punches, but I've understood that I do have value, and I do bring things to the table, just like you. Each and every one of you have an opportunity to bring that. And I think for me, to close, Celia Cruz's legacy, as well as my peers, mi hermanos Chris and Daryl, it inspires us to be able to share our own stories. And it's all at the right time and the right moment. But I need you to own your story. As we celebrate Celia Cruz and, reflect on some of my peers that resonate with some of the things that I see in Celia, my hope is that we understand that hear me out, each narrative is a thread in the fabric of culture. And when we tell our stories, we honor those who came before us. We honor them while paving the way for the future generations. That's what it's about. See, Celia Cruz and her impact, storytelling through music, just like Chris, but also storytelling through the power of sport, just like Daryl does as a coach, is a powerful tool for affirming our identities and worth and knowing that God has given us that. See, this Black History Month in 2025, I want us to celebrate these voices throughout, these next couple weeks, but also, just like musicians, that your story is deserved to be heard. Your music, your gift, your talent is deserved to be heard. So my hope is you understand that. And I just want to say thank you. And look, there's no greater people than those around you. Celebrate their stories. Share it with someone so they too know that they matter. Look, for me to be able to be of a Afro-Latino descent, although I may not really look like it, I know my brother completely have that look. I think it's something that I've owned it and I've learned to appreciate it, but I've also learned that I need to give those people their platform so they can share it with others. That's the beauty, man. Look, God created you with purpose. I need you to find it. I need you to show it. Even though at sometimes, like I struggled and I'm still struggling with the word, we feel that we're not worthy of it, right? So I found the word, imposter syndrome. Many times we have that we'll be in certain rooms, at certain tables, and that we feel that this imposter syndrome is going to hold us back of sharing who we are and our worth and our value. Can I say thank you to those peers of mine and mentors that have pushed me and remind me every single day that I am worthy. Look, Celia has a powerful voice that will be heard for generations, but your voice is just as powerful. So my hope is that you can celebrate that. So as we celebrate all of the Black excellence in the world, let's also celebrate those that are close to you. Celebrate them, honor them, the past, the present, and the future to come. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, check us out at fuelpasionpodcast.com. Y como siempre, immerse yourself dentro de la cultura, grow in your faith y make tus conexiones. Y como dice mi abuelita, que Dios te bendiga.